Hello everyone and welcome to the most important guide to League of Legends you have ever seen on the internet. Be it its long lifetime, the reaction you give your friends after they ask if you want to play League of Legends, or the interesting people around it.
Dantes, do you like Latina women? No! I like 3 winning lanes! Like, dude, do you not listen to anything I say?
After my moderate playtime in League of Legends, I think I can give you my expertise in the degeneracy that is League of Legends. League of Legends is a game where your goal is to destroy the enemy's giant crystal, protected by fireball casting towers before the enemy destroys yours. Said crystal also spawns random crackheads that help you take down those towers. Those minions are led by degenerates, player, that can't stop finding new ways to show their utter insanity. There are 168 champions as of recording this video. Each of them has 4 abilities, 1 passive, and one of them even has 10 abilities. So to know all of them, you will have to know 846 abilities and over 200 items. Good luck studying, they will be on tomorrow's tests. The team is split up into 5 roles. Top lane is usually the place everyone forgets it even exists until minute 20, when the fat 9-1 enemy top laner wakes up to terrorize your team. It is also the place where playing a ranged champion is a war crime. Junglers are those people that forget to buy the minimap DLC and therefore hasn't done anything in 20 minutes and gets rightfully blamed in your mind because you couldn't win your lane on your own, of course. Mid lane is the lane most people start playing and then realize that they are indeed not the next faker and either cling to the thought of it or move on to another lane like most of us. ADCs are the team's babies and main damage dealers that will not hesitate to cry whenever something doesn't happen the way they want, but are too important for the remaining team to neglect. They often just end up being useless outside of pinging that their laner is missing, even if they aren't actually missing. Supports are the ADC's babysitters, therefore share the bot lane with them. They consist of a wide variety of champions and usually do the most unrecognized work of the team, like assisting their junglers or lighten up the map like a Christmas tree. Unless they pick Yuumi and watch Netflix all the game while you watch your ADCs being violated by the enemy team. All of these have their own way, they are unbearable to play and only very few of them offer champions that don't have a negative stigma around them. Whatever role you choose, you will have a ton to learn. Or you pick Yuumi and let yourself get boosted, but that's a topic for another time. There are also objectives spawning on the map other than buildings to destroy, such as dragons, which spawn at the bot side of the map with different effects that stack, granting a dragon sword for the entire time once you have killed 4 of them. There are 6 different types of dragons, however explaining each one of them is as exhausting and annoying as playing jungle for more than 1 match, so I won't. The dragon buffs themselves aren't all that great. For an example, the Ocean Drake gives HP every few seconds and is comparable to having a nice tea while having a sore throat at 1 Ocean Drake and stacks up to taking a light painkillers at 4 Ocean Drakes. Once a team kills 4 of those regular dragons, the Elder Dragon will spawn and grant a temporary buff that allows the team to execute enemies below a certain threshold, which is a massive buff that the ugly looking dragon with the disturbing human looking face has by existing for too long. This threshold is so generous that you could just disconnect, like the other 2 monkeys on your team that have disconnected in minute 5. The top side on the map has void grubs. 3 of those spawn at once and they respawn once, so you get a total of 6. They deal extra damage to towers, and while having only 3 of them feels a bit underwhelming, it's worth denying your enemy having all 6 of them, because otherwise your mighty tower might just look like a tasty snack to your enemies. The next topside objective is a purple crab. Killing it drops an eye, allowing you to summon it once. It dashes into towers and deals massive damage to those. However, it takes damage itself in the process, meaning you usually get to crash into 2 towers before it dies. The last objective spawning on the map is the Baron. A giant snake-looking creature she told you not to worry about, that gives a massive buff to you and your surrounding crackheads. What did you say? It's too much to take in? Don't worry, my friend, there are casual modes to help you get into the game without being torn apart by the 4 other apes on your team in Summoner's Rift 5v5. Like for an example, Dominion. But we also have Twisted Tree Line. Yeah, Riot hasn't been doing all that great on improving casual game modes that aren't Summoner's Rift. However, we do have Aram, A mode where everyone gets a random champion and everyone has to share a single lane without any objectives other than turrets. There are also rotating game modes like Earth, which gives everyone massive cooldown reductions, but those only come a few times a year, if at all. Like that weird relative, you don't know, but they can't stop saying how cute you were as a baby. Getting those rotating game modes is always a nice feeling. It's like getting socks for Christmas. It's nice, but you know, you'd rather have an Xbox or something like that. Since some of them haven't been brought back in a while, it usually ends up being Earth all the time. Now that you understand the game, you should understand the community, so you can feel as comfortable in this asylum as we all do. So, why does mentioning that you play League of Legends make you a deranged psycho for everyone around you? Honestly, it starts with the content creators, really. Look at other popular games, like Dead by Daylight for example, where you have creators giving educational content or make fun of otherwise tilting situations.
I don't know. I never want to prejudge as to whether someone's hacking, because I know that's salty streamer behaviour, but I have an inkling.
There is a certain insanity to most popular League of Legends streamers, and it shows in their community.
So why did the farmer have no one laugh at his joke?
Why?
Because it was too corny.
Riot Games of course tries to regularly update the game to keep it fresh, though their balancing team might be an even bigger menace to society than some of their actual players, leading to further brain damage in their communities, such as the subreddit of the most reworked champion, Rice Mains. But outside of the content creators, Riot's interesting balancing decisions and the player base going insane, there's an actually fun and complex game. So complex indeed that after 5,000 hours of playing this awful game, I still haven't managed to climb out of gold, let alone reaching anything close to diamond. And I think that says a lot about the monkeys trapped in the ranked since years. And if there is one thing I learned in those 5,000 hours that isn't wave management or anything else that's complex, it's how much people believe that everyone besides them belongs in silver. And oh my god, it is so classic for people to just tell you to jump off a bridge because they didn't like the way you act. So, what do you do if you want to try to play a game, but all of your teammates think they are the next esports champions, but you are still out here trying to figure out what the fuck? A gank, bomba, Borg or camp meme? Good question. I don't know. And it seems like Riot doesn't know either. Why do it then? Why play League of Legends? Because it feels awesome whenever it does not feel horrific, and I am addicted, so I can't quit. And because I hate myself.